Welcome, Gen Con attendees. Today we have Dread Fairy Tales on one of the first, I say actually because we just had panels beforehand, but this is the first live game being broadcasted on twitch.tv/GenConOfficial. And you, our amazing audience, get to hang out to watch our three lovely, unassuming players engage in a dreadful tower of terror. So, B-Dave, you're used to this already. You should know better.
But I do. That's the problem. I do know better.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to our Dread Fairy Tale session today. My name is Ivan Van Norman, and I will be our storyteller for our Dread Fairy Tales that we'll be playing today. With me, I have three wonderful, talented, fun, amazing players who will be joining me. First, Miss Bonnie Gordon.
Hi, everybody. I am literally terrified right now. I have lived vicariously through Xander's deaths, so. Oh boy. Okay.
We have Mr. B. Dave Walters. And then we have a very special person who's new to Dread, new to playing with me, and went to Gen Con years ago, but it's been...
It's been 31 years since I've been at Gen Con. The last one I attended was 1987 in Milwaukee.
There you go.
So you were 5 years old at your last
Yes,
Gen
exactly.
Con?
Yes.
So
Very
welcome
youthful
everyone,
man.
Mark Meir joining us today. Yeah, how was Milwaukee back 3
Back
decades
then,
ago?
yeah,
Yes.
it was great. It was great.
What do you think so far?
So far at Gen Con, I've experienced collecting my badge from the director of the show that I got in the film festival. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah, and also a pile of wood. So less exciting than Milwaukee so far, but I've got high hopes for the weekend.
There we go. I'm sure there'll be plenty of overstimulation stimuli as the rest of the weekend goes on. So we only have a brief amount of time, so I figure we should get right into it and just start pulling blocks and just start this whole process. And in the meantime, what I will tell you is that today we are going to be retelling the story of the Three Little Pigs. I will be playing all three pigs.
It's true.
No, we have a wonderful day, so we're going to basically retell the story, as Dread Fairy Tales tend to do. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. And as always, we need to start off with it's impossible to play with a pristine tower, but I don't want you all to have the responsibility of potentially having this fall on you. And also, I can be a little more choice. Let's get rid of this nasty one that looks like it's holding a lot of weight. Oh, yeah, that's in there nice and tight.
What in our history with each other made you think that we need to like start at a deficit? Like I don't.
Hey, man, you can't have commerce without some deficit.
I don't like this at all.
Well, the numbers check out.
Okay, Xander, tag team.
Wait,
come back.
so wait, if you knock over the tower, do we win?
Yeah.
No, I just restack it and we do it again. So,
Oh
yeah,
man.
delicious. That's perfect. Okay, so first of all, real quick, how you feeling, Bonnie? You doing?
Not good.
Okay.
Not good at all. This is.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
playing with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to
I'm
enjoy
glad
this
to
little
be
story.
here. Thank
B.
you.
Dave, high five. Keep destroying everything. I've still got your NDA of consent in my floor. It's
true.
So, Mark, I've
Sir?
never played with you before.
Thank you for having me.
You got to be an NPC on Stream of Many Eyes.
That's right. That's right.
You know, but we didn't really get to play a game.
That's true. I was merely an NPC, the world's greatest first level mage.
the
true.
best. The
And
best.
I'm still sorry for what I did to you in that game. That's.
These things happen.
Spoiler alert, he got him arrested.
Yeah.
So, yeah. On the middle streets of Waterdeep. So, it's true.
Yeah, lawful good, sure, yeah.
And Mark, yeah, so thank you so much for playing with us today.
Not at all. Thank you very much. I'm filled with trepidation and dread.
Great, cool. Well, then I think that gives us a good place to start off.
I'm so legitimately scared.
I do too. My heart's beating really fast. I shouldn't have had the coffee.
I've gotten this far. Give me a few seconds just to kind of find out a good place to start this whole thing. But I believe your story begins in a beautiful forest topiary. There is lovely medium density woods that are surrounding this lush, beautiful forest that you live in. And in fact, the arbory is so tight that the foliage below, whether through the work and trepidation of your mother and father, has been cleared out, or just there's not even enough sunlight to be able to penetrate and take care of the undergrowth below, the sweet ferns. Our story begins with 3 little pigs, all sitting in a wooden cottage at the edge of the woods. As I mentioned, this woods is a fairy tale dream. Birds are chirping, sap is running down the bark of these large redwood-style oaks. Redwood oaks, they're redwoods, let's make it clear.
It's a fantasy. They're redwood
It's a
oaks.
fantasy, they're redwood
Hybrids.
oaks.
Yeah,
Redwood
hybrid,
oaks.
hybrid.
Hybrids,
There was-
gene spliced it.
There was a spell that went wrong.
Right. I mean,
And you 3, our story begins with a door flinging open and all 3 of you being thrown out of the front door as your father pig goes, "Damn it, I said get out of the house! You're all 18 and you need to leave!" As your little tiny rumps bounce along the dirt floor, you kind of skid and make tracks along the thread, and maybe you do a little half spin as you face them, and your father pig with his like workman's apron and a bib with recent barbecue sauce on the front of it and a tiny little hat is sitting there and just like grabbing his belt and being like, "Now Sid, get out!"
Wait, what was he barbecuing? We should leave.
There were 4 little pigs.
for the 4th little
The
pig.
story
That's-
got revised.
It got very dark all of a
Oh
sudden.
dear me.
Well, my siblings, we seem to find ourselves in need of accommodation.
Yeah.
I've spent my life hybridizing these redwood oaks. Where am I gonna go?
But a horticultural masterpiece, to be sure. Yes, yes.
Dear.
As long as we find something quick. I have really bad allergies and I hate being outside.
Yes, yes. Well, the best way to not be outside is to be inside, as they say.
Well, Father told us to leave.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, our parental home is denied to us, but we can easily construct our own accommodation.
All we have to do is find a different clearing and, I guess we could all be neighbors.
I've never left this clearing before.
So you're going to be making your first foray out into the woods, leaving behind the safety and security of your tiny piggy home. Make a pull for courage. That sweet, sweet anxiety. That sweet feeling of, oh, I am going outside of my comfort zone. Yes, you have the safety and security of your 2 siblings, one who is the eldest, and then the middle child, with you being the youngest. You've spent all this time gene splicing these redwood oaks, that the idea of even leaving your pig cottage is terrifying, but there is a feeling of new adventure inside of you as well.
I don't care what happens now. I didn't knock it over first. That's all I care about. I think we can do it. I think as long as we stick together, we can do this.
Yes,
right.
yes. As long as we have somewhere we can wallow in our own filth, we should be fine. As is our wont.
Well, there is because this is such an intricate and well-manicured clearing, you do see that the common pathways that are led to, go to the market, gather roast beef, and go wee all the way home.
Honestly, yeah, right.
That's his territory. He's a professional weir.
It is laid out in front of you, but there's several pathways. There's actually 3 very well-defined paths that each one of you could walk down or go down together if you wish.
Shall we split up or keep our forces combined?
Well, I feel like my entire life I've been living in both of your shadows. Even though apparently we're all 18 years old. You were born first and they give you the most respect. You're the baby, even though you had the biggest growth spurt. It's just, I feel like I need to take a stand and be on my own for once.
Yes, having our own places might be good. We've been
Yes.
living at home for so long, but we could still visit.
I would love to, we could still visit. You're all welcome over for, barbecue anytime.
I personally would like a bachelor pad, yeah, so I can start entertaining.
Very well then. Shall we each take our own path and build our own accommodation, then meet back here?
Elder Pig, if I may call you Elder Pig. Do you have a name, Elder Pig?
Yes, Winston.
Winston. And our middle pig,
Penelope.
Penelope. And our baby boy.
Righteous.
Right.
He's my righteous brother.
Righteous. Whack!
I feel like, make all the polls.
Yep. And game over.
Winston, Penelope, and Righteous. As you pick your paths, you move towards the beautiful forest that's in front of you, and you hear the snapping of twigs and straw, and occasionally kick a stone as you move down the pathway and find that it gets dark very quickly. The open arboretum that was part of your cottage home slowly starts to get dismal, and the shadows become longer as you start to see this forest become a place of foreboding temptation. As you are looking around, you occasionally are noticing that, oh, that might be a decent beam, or oh, this seems like to be good filling for in between the walls, or your brain begins to work about what accommodations and materials you could use to build your dream home. And that is why it startles you, Penelope,
I'm startled.
when all of a sudden you see a man step out from the behind of a giant wood, and he yells as he looks into you, and as he's holding a backpack that is filled 3 times his height with straw above him, and goes, "Oh my God, a pig! What are you doing out here in the woods?"
Oh, well, newfound independence.
I didn't. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yes. I was walking down to Elder Pig's walkway. Is it down this way?
Oh, yes. If you keep walking straight down this way, you'll find all the pigs.
He has ordered this unassumingly large amount of straw on my back in order to make some accommodations now that he has new rooms, I guess. He's increasing his bed size.
Seriously? Straw? Well, I'm definitely not coming to visit now. He knows I have hay fever. This is a personal thing against me.
Oh, you know him?
Elder?
I guess you are.
Yes.
I guess you are a pig.
What, yeah, what, are you saying all pigs are related?
What is that
Whoa,
supposed to
are you
mean?
saying
What
all
are you-
pigs
weird
look alike?
kidding.
Well,
That, sir, is pigsist.
well, I apologize. Mean no harm, miss. I will just be on my way.
You shall be on your way. Keep walking, mister.
He walks away, taking his giant backpack of straw.
Excuse me, Elder, aren't you a straw aficionado? It's a little retro for my taste.
Oh,
but I
yes,
just thought
yes.
you were-
Straw's traditional for pigs. All barnyard animals, really. But yes. It's
So you hear this exchange. Since you haven't mulled too far away, you hear your middle sibling yell out about this unassuming pile, this pigsist man with his giant unassuming pile of straw.
I shall raise my trotter to shield my eyes from the sun. And there you are, my good man. Yes, right this way. I'm the one who placed that order.
He watches you. I guess so. He starts slowly kind of stepping through the ferns and kind of hitting the underbrush as he occasionally tips over, and he kind of like bends to one end, and then you watch as like the pile of hay kind of comes down. It's almost comic that he's managed to keep it this tall. And he walks towards you and suddenly trips and falls as he lays down, and you watch as this pile of straw just kind of like flows, and you make a pull, avoid the straw. Avoid this giant pile. Now, granted, it is very, very light and easy, this straw, and it probably wouldn't do you any personal harm, but it is also pointy and ragged, and you can see that there are a couple of sharp ends as this giant, unassuming pile of straw is just looming down upon you. And as these pieces just kind of slowly tumble out of his backpack, you watch as he catches his footing and picks himself back up and staggers, as he picks himself and steps right in front of you.
Well done, sir. Well done. You regained your footing, I see.
Yes.
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 I will expect a discount for all this spillage.
It's all dirty now. That's.
I've walked like 5 or 6 miles with this straw.
Yes, and failed at the very last moment. Thus, negating all your hard work.
He plops the giant pile of straw right at your feet as it kind of like leans across the side, maybe tips against you a little bit, and it like holds his hand out but doesn't make eye contact.
Very well, let's see, and we'll take that and a substantial discount, and there you are. And for your time, a tip.
Pigs. As he walks out of the clearing and steps
It's
out
not
into
an
the
insult if it's just what I am.
As he steps out, you now have a giant pile of house building straw.
Ah, yes, you see, my siblings, this will serve me very well. Straw's an excellent insulating material.
His voice carries. I'm like,
No, it's not. I have hay fever.
Oh, yes. Well, that's an added bonus. Now, I begin weaving the straw together, first
Binding
to
it.
form mats for
Yes.
the floor and whatnot. I'll probably rent a baler to form the walls. I'll have to get a hold of them. I'll just text them.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Great service. Good contact. You get a reply back being like, you should expect your baler anytime in the next 2 to 4 hours.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, I shall be busying myself building a magnificent palace of straw. And of course, the main advantage to this building material is I can relieve myself right on the floor.
Now, as you are relaying all of this information to your siblings, you do see as the man who delivered this bundle of straw turns his back and yells out and goes, "By the way, you're far enough out from the woods now. I would be mindful. One piece of advice. Watch out for wolves. I hear they frequent the darker parts of these forests, and I hear they're fond of pigs." And with that, he takes his leave.
What do
as-
you mean, darker parts of the forest?
Pigfist.
What do you mean, fond of pigs? Do you mean in the biblical sense, or? That's fine.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll find out.
You will find out because he is not going to answer that question.
Wolves. That's an old pig wives' tale, right? That didn't. I thought our moms and dad just told us those stories of wolves to scare us as a kid. Wolves under the bed, wolves in the closet.
Oh, wolves exist, my sister.
Yeah, the
wolves
story.
exist.
It
Yes.
worked, yeah, on me.
But we must not let the threat be overblown. Once I am secure behind my impregnable walls of straw, I'm sure there'll be no need for concern.
No need for concern. With that, it sounds actually you all three are quite enjoying being able to at least yell at each
Yeah.
other from enough of a distance in which you can build the foundation of these cottages. And even though there is definitely large tree breakages that are happening between various potential clearings, I think it sounds actually pretty appropriate that even though you're not in the, say, cozy same neighborhood, but maybe being in a similar district is maybe not a bad idea.
We have cans with string. Hello? They didn't answer, apparently. So that obviously didn't work. I'm gonna toss that out.
It went to voicemail.
I'll just scream across the nook.
I know you don't like hay. What are you going to build your house out of?
Well, looking around at these valuable resources that we're surrounded by, I think I might go for a stronger infrastructure as I pick up a rock and I pick up another rock
Yeah.
and a third and juggle. Because I studied juggling.
At Pig Clown Academy.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's my future.
So you're feeling, and the good news is that whether it was maybe a large earthquake or just the weathering of large boulders, there is definitely a large supply of stone and even enough mortar that you could potentially make some brickwork out of it. Because you're a smart pig. You
Oh,
know how
I
to make
am.
bricks, right?
They don't believe it,
Yeah,
but
she
I
sure
am.
thinks she
I'm the
is, yeah.
smart one. And you know, there's enough rock here that I could make something quite nice. Not too big. I don't need a lot of space.
So you could ground rock to either make bricks, or you could stack it with the bricks yourself, right?
I could do all those things. I have to choose.
Why don't you do
Oh,
all those things?
Okay.
Why don't you make a sweet pull and carve those sweet rocks into sweet bricks?
Here I go.
Good luck, my sister. I love you.
My little hooves are working double time. Brick, 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 brick.
Yeah, as you're taking apart, the
Okay.
baler shows up, as well as maybe the cement mixer. And then what did you order, youngest pig?
I would like to try and construct a tree house. If I cannot live in the tree, I would like to live adjacent to one of
the
my
tree.
beloved redwood oaks.
So we'll maybe get you some baling line or some other kind of large vehicle. I just see a world in which 3 construction vehicles are coming out and helping build your stuff here.
This is horrible. Oh, okay.
As you're picking each one of these little rock pieces up, you
Oof.
actually, as you're picking a small boulder up, you actually lift it up and hear as you see a large skunk with a white stripe pull itself up, and you see its fangs bearing down. As it lifts its tail up, and you see as a green waft of mist just, and it strikes you as
I
you
have
are.
no sense of smell. Thank you very much.
You're now not only hay fevered but skunked.
Thank you. Allergies? I smell nothing.
No, you smell awful.
To be honest, she smells a lot better than we usually do.
That's why we don't live together anymore.
It's my new musk.
So as you've basically start grounding this powder together, the cement truck shows up, and you're able to lowly grind away as you start mixing your mix in order to make your foundation for your cottage, not too far away from the straw hut.
Yes, and we're also in a drought, so I would like something not flammable.
It's very sustainable. I appreciate that. Yes.
It's gonna be gold. It's gonna be cold though.
That's okay. I can cuddle with my new skunk pet. Say hello to my little friend.
Excellent for home defense. Yes.
Yes.
All right, righteous.
Yes.
Or
Tree house.
Yes.
Yes. You
Yes.
said you want this, if not above, you want it below.
Yes. I know a thing or two about trees.
Yes.
So if I think any of these can sustain my not small heft.
Yes.
She's the wordsmith. I'm not. I would like to live like up among the branches. If not, I will live at the base of a large tree.
I feel it is appropriate that you know enough about trees, you would look around, and as you're kind of just getting a general sense of the area, there is a chance that you could find something with enough sturdy, low-hanging branches that you could build this foundation on, but you're gonna have to make a pull to find it.
Yes. It will keep me free from the wolves when they come. Ideally.
Ooh, nice.
And as you are looking around, you do see, with relative ease, these redwood oaks that you're so fond of. You've bred them to be able to have nice, low-hanging, supporting branches that you could easily start a foundation on. But you got to build that ladder first. So, first that ladder. No, it's not a pull.
I'm like, what? I'm living on the ground. Change the plan.
So all 3 of you begin constructing your cottages.
I'm a brick house.
She's mighty, mighty. It's gonna all fall down.
Living next to my righteous brother over here. We're gonna start a real band.
Now, do me a favor.
musical.
I would love, for the purposes of our little fairy tale, I would love to hear what your house looks like and how it reflects you as your pig identity. And since we have determined that you are all in this zone, it's pig zoned, you could say, but you are not so far away from each other that you couldn't at least run to the other's aid, for example. Who would like to begin?
Oh,
Well, I should think that using the medium of straw would be completed first. Yes,
Yes,
Easy to work
absolutely.
with. Yes,
Easy
yes.
to
So
work with.
I have a rather modest, though very efficient home, more of a bungalow, really.
Right.
It is, of course, constructed from bales of hay. A mat of straw has been laid down, which can
Yes.
be changed. As mentioned, I will be relieving myself on the floor, so yes, I'll be sweeping that out every day. There is, of course, a bedroom. There's a small study. A
Small study.
Yes.
Straw study.
Yes. In order that I may recline with a glass of port in the evening while perusing my books. Yes. Which,
I would think that that straw would be an excellent stain combination, whether remover or holder or whatever it be.
Yes, yes. And of course, it is rather comfortable in there
Yeah.
because I rarely need furniture because I can, of course, just lie upon the ground. Hello? Who is it?
Yes, hello. Hello. Is anyone home?
Yes. The person who answered is home, yes.
Excuse me. I am a bit lost and I could use your help.
Oh, lost, yes. How can I be of assistance?
Are you opening the door? Are you just yelling out from your thin
This
walls of
is-
the straw?
I'm still reclining with a glass of port.
Okay.
How may I be of assistance?
Yes, I'm trying to find Grandma's house. Do you happen to know where that is?
Grandma's house.
Yes.
Very well, hold on. Yes. And so I put on my robe, my smoking jacket.
Yes.
My smoking jacket. And finish my port. And answer the door to see who it is coming about and bothering me during my leisure time.
As you swing the door open, you see as a small 12-year-old girl with a long, dress, white, with a small basket and a red hood is laid out in front of you. And she seems to have a basket that's overflowing with pastries and breads. And
Barbecue?
she stares, no barbecue. And she stares up at you with these wide, doughy eyes and goes, "Yes, sir, Mr. Pig. I'm sorry, I'm lost in these woods and I'm looking for my grandmother's house."
Ah, young lady. Well, perhaps I can be of assistance. What is your grandmother's name, or is she just named Grandma?
Granny.
Granny. That narrows it down.
Granny Smith.
Granny Smith. Oh, yes, she lives in the orchard just over there.
Oh,
Excellent. The green apples will lead the way.
Oh, thank you. It's a wonderful house of straw you've made.
Oh, well, thank you. I built it myself, don't you know?
Oh, my, it's so straw-like.
Yes, very much straw-like.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your help. And here, and she watches, she reaches into a basket and she pulls out a nice little French baguette. And she hands it to you for your troubles.
Baguette? If I had a bicycle and a stripy shirt, it would be like being in Paris.
She doesn't know what that means, but she takes a little curtsy and she walks off into the orchard.
Ooh, I will
So-
enjoy my baguette with some port, I think.
Excellent. And you, sir, would you like to tell me a little more about your house?
I build it on the most sustainable foundation possible. I lovingly nuzzle the construction in the nooks and crannies of the tree. I have a little hole in the floor so that I do not have to relieve myself inside. It can just drop out of the tree, so
I
careful down
get
there.
to relieve myself inside. It is a feature, not a bug.
I do try and keep little holes into the tree, speaking of bugs, so I can have my own little buffet line that I can just sort of reach in for grubs on tap. That's
Excellent.
important. That's
Yes.
important.
Little
Ve-
sap feeding station.
Vegan, though, cruelty-free.
Yeah.
Not vegan, but cruelty-free. Pig vegan, you know.
Grubs
pegan.
are alive.
Yeah, they're pegan, yes. I try and have like a small viewing port where I can look at the stars up through like a hole in the tree. And most importantly, I try and keep a couple of my sister's heavy rocks up here that I could drop on brigands.
Brigands.
Yes,
Yes.
not too sure about that red-hooded child.
Yes.
The only red hood I know took over Gotham. It's bad.
Well played. Well played. At this point, you're assessing your little kind of rock pile as you're checking your bug station and you're putting your little tiny finishing touches as you hear a, "What ho! What ho, good pig! Sir, may I ask your aid?" What is the Steve Urkel the pig?
Day's
Can
not
I
over.
do that?
True. I could rock that walk as a pig. 100%.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I'm being chased currently by a sheriff, and I need aid. Would you hide me, sir?
Fight the police, brother. Absolutely. Yes.
I let down my little pig ladder. Yeah,
As you
'cause
look
the-
down your pig ladder, you hear as the strings of the wood, you hear creak. As you watch as like a man with a tricorn hat and long leotards with a green vest with a bow slung over his shoulder as he lifts himself up and goes, excellent, thank you. I thought I would never find a suitable accommodation in which to hide away from that dreaded sheriff. So, sir, do you have an addict?
What you see is what you get, friend. I'm a pig in a tree.
Excellent, I'll work with what I can do. And he sees this tiny little barrel that you've maybe accommodated the balcony. He pops the top off as he watches. He like puts himself back down.
I'll sit on it. Act natural.
Excellent. Penelope,
Yes.
would you describe to me your...
It's quite small because, you know, I don't have the upper body strength to lift all these rocks too big and too high. It's a cute little stone cottage with a moat. Just kidding. I tried. It didn't work. It does have a chimney, though. I will say this because I
More
am
like just a pit.
Yeah, more like just that's where I relieve myself. I know. I have. So I'll have a poop pit, a poop
Pit.
moat.
Poop ditch.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'll pull down the bridge. So
Between
anyway,
that and the skunk, I am not visiting.
again, no sense of
Really,
smell.
what you've made is a bathtub, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, a sludgy, you know, mud pit
Okay.
in my lovely home. I do have a chimney because everyone knows Penelope is the daddy's girl. So if he ever comes to visit and wants to barbecue, I'll have the means to do it. As long as it doesn't barbecue my new pet cat,
Which is there with
Fluffy.
you.
Yes. I feel like Penelope is now like definitely has come into her own. She has curlers in her one little thing, mostly in her tail, and
Curlers in
you
her
know,
tail?
and like a robe with her cat. She's definitely going the landlord route,
Yes.
where you know she's like, oh yeah.
Has she ordered in at this point?
Oh yeah, yes, she doesn't go out much. Yeah. She's
enough.
waiting for her DoorDash.
It's actually when a door just shows up and delivers
Yeah.
whatever.
I was like, well, this is
That's
fantastic.
a magical
Yeah,
door.
it's a magical door.
Yeah,
I just
at
open
least.
it and I'm like, I'm at the restaurant. This is convenient. This is wonderful.
Door, I would
Yes.
like Asian tonight.
Better than 5 stars. All right.
Excellent. So you have this homey, very comfy, very sturdy
Oh, yes.
brick house that has a couple of rock accommodations back
Yeah.
and forth, but you've made it cut with precision care
Oh yes, it's very precise. The angles are exactly.
and with has a Fluffy's house. Is it outside or
Oh, it
inside?
has a little mini little fluffy house for her, and a little hole for her to get in and out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, little like
So there's
kitty
a
door.
little kitty door in which you've dug under the foundation and it comes up underneath.
Yeah, for some reason she's really good at burrowing. Who would have thought? Smart cat.
Excellent. So as you're kind of waiting for Fluffy to come in and take a pet, and Wadding is waiting for your tail to curl appropriately,
Yes.
you do hear as you hear, as a bunch of horses kind of strut through and you hear it run right by as it comes by your house. Let me try that again a little better.
Whoa, horsey, whoa!
As you feel the foundation of your house just rumble a little bit as the wet cement kind of slowly kind of comes apart as it stumps by, as these horses just rump by, and you hear as it comes across as a man just like stops his horse as quick as he can. He pulls the reins back and the horse just mad, just as it watches like spray comes out, and you can see the white sweat of these horses as they are just coming across, and they stand amongst the 3 houses and they go, "Robin Hood, where are you, you scoundrel? I'll hang you this day if my name's not Sheriff."
Hello, Sharif.
Who
Who's there?
Sounds like a pig. And you hear as you as a soldier walks over and kind of like looks up to where your bottom hatch is.
Is he near the poop hatch?
Is he next to the poop hatch? Make a pull to put it next to the poop hatch.
I have to. Yeah. I have to. I may deeply regret it, but I have to.
If you want poop hatch privileges, only the tower will provide it for you.
Ooh.
As you're kind of fiddling with your poop hatch try, you're that guy.
Oh, I'm absolutely that guy, people.
As you're pulling this
You're
latch,
welcome, brother and sister.
You can. You
All
kind
this
of,
for a poop hatch?
All of this to make a statement.
Would you do me the honor of describing exactly how this goes down? Literally.
Yes, please do.
Literally. I don't mean to be gauche, but they caught me at an indelicate moment. And when he gets too close to the tree, there is 100% chance of rain with some intermittent hail.
He like takes his helmet off, throws it down, and starts just.
Oh, sorry, friend.
I'm gonna kill that pig. And you watch, it's like the sheriff just is like, he just. Reginald, get away. Go douse yourself. You're a filthy man. Pig, you shouldn't have done that.
I don't know how to hold it any longer. I'm sorry.
Can I hear the commotion from my house?
Well, you're all in the same area, and they're not being quiet.
Very well. Excuse me, what seems to be the problem here?
We have, well, at least someone has a sense of accommodating. So we are the authorities coming in to find a dangerous bandit.
I saw her. She's on the way to Granny's house.
You can never blame me again for what I did to you at the Stream of Many Eyes. Never again.
Just that way. It's in the orchard.
Her, sir.
Yes.
Her.
Yes.
Make a pull. See if you can convince this man that instead of looking for a bandit, they are indeed looking for a little girl of which you're accommodating for. As you're seeing this man come out, you can hear the deciding as they're going across. Oh, did you see her? Did you see him? Do you know what he looks like? Robin Hood is up into his own tricks. Maybe he disguised
Yes.
himself.
Hood. She was wearing a hood.
He is crafty. Turn it over. I agree. That's Robin Hood up to his old tricks again, now disguising himself as little girls. I swear I'll get him. I swear I'll get him. Thank you, good pig.
Oh, yes. I assume there's a reward for his capture.
Yes, our greatest thanks. As you hear, it trails off.
Nobody ever comes to visit me. What the hell?
And at this moment, you hear as you turn around and see Fair Robin, as he pops out with his red tricorn beard, or his little pointy beard, as it comes and goes, "Well played, pig, well played."
We try.
As he steps out, he takes his hand out to give a shake. He's like, you have my most undying thanks. Should you ever come into a place of need, call upon Robin and his merry men, and we will be here.
Absolutely. And in the event that I'm indisposed, could my brother and sister possibly hearken unto you?
If you are all family. Family takes care of each other. As our band of merry men are family, so you and your sister and brother shall be taken care of.
Yes, I would point out that I was the one who sicked the cops on the little girl.
Yes,
He just relieved himself on something.
I will say I never thought your irritable bowel movements would come in handy.
As Robin Hood steps down from the ladder, he if you are going to step out of your straw hat, he would give you a little bit of a nod as he bounds merrily into the forest.
I give him a week. Call me.
Well, my can. Hello?
Dilly dilly.
So, a lovely night goes by. A fulfilling night of independence as all of you sit amongst your celebrated cottages.
This is bloody good port.
I wouldn't build a fire in there, brother.
No smoking inside.
But you can smoke inside.
Oh, yes, I have a nice fire. I'm drinking hot cocoa. I don't know where I got it from, but I had it. And my cat's just chilling. At
Excellent.
least I think it's a cat.
In your face. And a night goes by with little event. In fact, it is your first night out, and it is wonderful. So, the dawn of a new day brings a new day of adventure for the three little pigs, as you now are fully independent in your own homes with your own place to call and be independent.
Is that
It's our
our
pig.
long-lost
It's
sibling?
our pig neighbor. It's the fourth pig.
There's another one out there. Come. Where are you?
I knew Daddy didn't barbecue her.
I'm gonna build a guest room in my house for our lost sister Squeaky.
And but as with everything, you now have a place to live, but now it needs to be filled with accommodations, and oh lordy lordy, you have to eat something. So,
Not Fluffy.
Yeah, I've got a bug buffet. I thought ahead.
right. But for when bugs, they are seasonal, you know,
yes.
and they don't always provide the abundance. I think it would only be fair to be able to stock your newfound houses.
We're Canadian pigs.
with something that will provide a lot more long-term sustenance. So, do we have any ideas, any particular tastes of things that you think you would like to stock your houses with at this time?
Well, as a traditionalist, I will be having slop.
Apparently, apples aren't too hard to come by in these parts.
So apples, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of fruits and veggies. I might start a little garden in my backyard.
That is excellent.
I know. Since I cleared all this clearing because I cleared all the rocks away to build my cottage, now I have this nice little place of dirt where I can start hoeing, or whatever. You know the.
Working those streets. Yeah, yeah.
I gotta get money somehow.
I support you and your choices, my sister.
I just go to the corner.
I'm quite affordable.
Hey, you do you, pig. You do you. So,
I believe
never mind.
I shall contact local restaurants in the nearby village to have them bring by their busing trays and just empty them into.
well, that would be an excellent idea. Even though we have discussed the baler who has brought to you your straw baling, a lot of the local restaurants in the areas are not quite up with the times
Use
yet.
the magic door.
DoorDash.
It's great.
It would, if you would like to be able to approach and talk to these restaurants and bring home some slop for dinner, you would probably have to go into the village yourself, which is not a long walk, but it is a walk.
Yes. And following that, I will go wee all the way home.
Okay. Yes. So you're going to go to market. We'll take you out. And, okay, I'm just going to say it. This little pig went to market. And
And thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Good night.
This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy worked the streets.
And this little piggy had none. Yeah. So,
We don't know what that piggy's doing, but
I think we know the wolf got that pig.
So in your bright, beautiful, wonderful morning, you walk out amongst the idyllic forest that you are now calling home.
Yes, of course, going to town, I'll dress my best in a nice waistcoat.
Excellent.
No pants.
Nope.
As is traditional. I'm a traditionalist.
I do feel like I should accompany my brother, just in case.
If you wish. Yes.
I might get more work in the market. I don't know how this happened. I'm just making a garden.
Okay.
I meant like, you know,
No, gardening. It's fair.
I don't know what this is, but
Would
I
you-
obviously don't know how to really garden.
Would you, Penelope, like to stay and work on the garden?
I would love that, but I would also like to give my brothers a task. Could you pick up some seeds? Because I figured I might need that.
Very well. What variety would you like?
Corn, potatoes, are those seeds? Yeah, those are seeds, right?
The
Corn,
potatoes, they're little seed, like little. You
Yeah,
just
little
actually plant potatoes. You
spuds.
put out the potato. I'll bring you some potatoes so you can grow some potatoes.
Thank you. Some
excuse
corn, tomatoes. That'd be nice. Yeah.
As the family horticulturist, I believe I can locate some things that will take nicely to this soil, yes.
Thank you, Righteous.
So as the team begins to move forward, or at least the two brothers come through, Penelope, you sit and embark upon your gardening activities. It is a peaceful, zen-like experience being able to work the soil, get your little piggy hooves dirty.
I just roll in it.
Just
Just making it.
As you're tending the land and putting things together, you hear, as you hear a bunch of birds suddenly scatter amongst the side of the woods, and you begin to hear the sounds of twigs snapping as something on the outer side of the clearing seems to be moving around.
I don't like that. I'm gonna go back inside and look through the window.
As you peer out through your window and you pull the lace back, I'm assuming it's lacy.
I definitely have lace.
Okay.
I mean, look at me. I'm a lady of luxury.
As you pull back the curtains, you see as small saplings slowly start to bend as parts of the forest are kind of moving, seeming to move aside as a shadowy figure with long angular legs and paws that seem to be pushing into the earth is standing up on two legs, and you can see it peering out through the woods, and suddenly it gazes right into the window and you see a solid red eye as it peers on you, and then it disappears off into the woods.
That was the boogeyman. Yep, they're real. Meaning the wolf.
Was it a wolf?
I am assuming so.
You
Or a
hear
Borg?
as a giant.
I'm sorry.
You hear tiles scraping as you feel something jump onto your roof, and you hear a as you feel the crunch of each one of your brick and tiles seems to snap in half as something seems to be laying on top of the roof.
I'm gonna light a fire. I'm gonna try to smoke him off my roof.
Smoke them off the roof, make a pull. Smoke them
Oh,
off the
crap.
roof. Be a part of this.
Maybe I'll just sit here and listen.
I smell
Okay.
emboldened,
It's fine. This is fine.
sweet, sweet meat. I can smell you, little pig.
Obviously, I'm covered in skunk.
You
Woo!
think that the other animal's scents can cover your sweet meats. I can hear you, I can smell you, I can taste you on my tongue.
And then I cover myself in perfume and run away.
But you're still inside of your
Oh no,
house.
I. But now he can't smell me because of the smoke,
Well,
right?
more what you hear is you see is that at this point you've been feeling four hooves or paws just crunching themselves upon the tileway, and you hear as it stands up and lifts itself, and you hear more tiles crunch, crunch as it sits itself upon the roof, and you can almost feel it turning towards your siblings' homes as it comes around and goes, you have brothers, it seems. Good. And you hear as like a just pile of claws just crunch into the side of the tile as this thing just leaps off of the side, and you watch as dirt just like clips up as it bounds off of all fours and just piles into the forest. Cut to our two little pigs
In the mud.
through.
You know, I have real trouble with the systemic oppression of the farming class by this town here. There's a disproportionate accumulation of wealth in this forest.
Well, you always have to understand we're operating under the feudal system.
We're an autonomous collective, though.
Fair enough. No, I'm not going to get into a political discussion with you again. Ruined Thanksgiving last time. Now then, I think we have all our supplies. Did you manage to get seeds and whatnot for our sister?
I did corn cobs, potatoes, tomatoes, and other things that I think she'll find quite enjoyable.
Lovely, lovely.
I'm sure nothing untoward has happened to her in the time we've been gone.
No, what could have happened?
Yes.
Do they have their cans?
Emergency family meeting.
So as you are traversing back through the woods, you.
Oh,
you're-
wait. We should do it as we go home.
What?
Well, we should do as is tradition. I'm a traditionalist, so as we go home.
Oh, no, we.
All the way home.
You really.
No, but we have to do it all the way home.
You really.
Come on,
Now free yourself from this systemic mind control that you've been oppressed by. Be free.
Well, I'm going to do it.
No, we.
Are we home yet?
No, you're not home yet.
All right.
There's going to be a lot more wees before you get all the way home.
Although I do, in fact, purchase roast beef while we're in the market.
That's
just
fair.
for the
yes.
record.
So you have your slab of roast beef and you have your seeds.
Yes.
He had
So
none.
this little piggy has roast.
Yes.
This little piggy has none.
Thank you. Thank you. We've driven it home all the way.
You made it this way, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm still working the street.
As you are moving through the forest, you are cheerfully wee-wee-weeing and talking about the systemic oppression of the feudal society. As you're continuing to come through, you are slowly realizing that your political discussion has left you in a position in which you have gone off trail. And you are now moving through parts in which the undergrowth is now a lot more oppressive, and you can feel the small snitches and snaps of briars as they occasionally flick your tender skin as you continue to push through, and you have to push away large saplings as they have now kind of come across your way, and you have found yourself completely and utterly lost.
I don't recognize this. I have no recollection of this place.
You know, I feel like there's some sort of metaphorical significance to my political ideology leading me to a lost and confusing place that I didn't account for, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know what's going on either.
No, I have no idea where we are. All right, what do we do?
Well, you obviously could continue to find the trail, but there. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Was there something you wanted to contribute?
No, please.
Sure. There is, assumingly, you do see that there are a couple of smoky structures that seem to be, like a chimney fire seems to be not too far away from where you are. There is definitely a chance that you could double back. You could potentially get more lost in that way. But really, what I'm offering you is either a chance to pull and find your way back to the trail, or potentially investigate what is invisible sight, which is this smoky trail that is laid out in front of you, and you can barely see it peering through the open arboretum of the trees.
What think you?
I say adventure. We can always double back, but we don't know what lay ahead.
Very well. Let's see what this smoke is about.
No, but you first, though. Yeah.
Yes, where there is smoke, there is fire.
Yes.
And I think if we go to the smoke, we don't have to pull one of these. Yes?
It's true. It seems.
Yes. Let's do the easy thing.
Right there. I'm sure, again, there will be no negative repercussions to this course of action. Yeah, of course. Yeah, right.
Stop foreshadowing me!
They all know what this is. They know what this is.
There doesn't seem to be much resistance on this path, so let's go this way.
All right, righteous. As you move through the pathway, you find yourself into a nice open grove of apple orchards. And as the area begins to clean through, you can see that the undergrowth is now lightened up a little bit, and there's these lush, full trees of bright green, fruitful apples as you get closer to this house that seems to have an active chimney smoking, but the door seems to be wide open.
You know, I heard there was a ring of tiny bandits operating in this apple orchard.
Yes, apple orchard. This seems familiar somehow. Green apple. Granny Smith! Oh!
Yeah.
Yes, perhaps we should investigate.
Sure, then pop in. I haven't seen Granny in ages. After you, though. I feel like you might owe someone an apology.
What they don't know won't hurt them.
I think it's the sheriff that might have hurt them.
Now, as you get closer to Granny Smith's home, you do see undoubtedly the laden tracks of hoof prints that are laid out in front of the doorway. But you do also see that the tracks have led off in a direction as well too, as if the horsemen stopped and then continued along their way. You also see that there are various personal effects that seem to be scattered around parts of the front door, and you do see that the windows have been smashed open and broken as well. And as you kind of move forward and get closer to the house, you can smell this coppery, thick scent that seems to just be pungent in the air as the humid interior is wafting across your delicate nostrils.
I can't help but feel slightly responsible for this.
Now we see the violence inherent in the system.
Well said.
As you peek your head into the side, you see blood. There is piles of it. There is just small, intricate scrape marks that have been crested across all different parts of the wood frame and the stone flooring. And you can see that there are both footprints and there are dinner plate size paw prints that are laid out each part of the cottage, and you can see the bed has been torn apart. There's fluff, and there is just pieces of drapery and linen scattered everywhere, and you can see that parts of it have just been torn as if it was simply a piece of paper ripped about. And you can see that the feather stuffing, this is someone slaughtered an entire coop of chickens inside of this place, and it does smell like death. And at that moment, you can hear whimpering, small, tiny cries that seem to be echoing in this part of the cottage.
Hello?
Oh, God! And he watches Little Red Riding Hood pushes herself out of the cradle, or out of the closet, just throws herself out and just runs and grabs a hold of your legs. Oh, God!
Oh, there, my dear. There.
Oh, my.
It's all right now.
Oh, my. Make a pull. Make a pull. Hold on to this stair. You're the one that brought this all together. You almost knew what you were going to see even before you stepped into this house, and now you're seeing this tiny, frail child who has clearly seen terrible, horrible things laid out in front of you. It was huge. He came in, and he ate her. He grabbed her, and he pushed her all the way down his throat.
Who, my dear?
I'm like,
Are you saying the sheriff did this? Because you can lodge a formal complaint.
Even I don't think the sheriff did this, big bro.
Please take me into town. Please get me away from here.
Oh, of course. We must assist her.
No, but we can get out of here, but I'm afraid if we go back to town, they're gonna pin this on us. We should go home. If there's a wolf out here, our sister's there.
All right, yes. We'll take you somewhere safe. I have a house made of straw. It's very safe.
Don't leave.
Very impregnable.
Okay, all right. Just don't leave me alone. Just don't leave me alone. Don't leave me alone.
All right, well, if the orchard is here, I think I know where we are now. Then we can find our way home.
As you trail back, yes.
Do grab apples, though, on the way.
Okay. As you stuff a bunch of apples, maybe Little Red Riding Hood's basket, you stuff them in and grab a hold of it. You walk
Does she have
back.
any pastries left?
her grandmother.
I think
Too
the
soon?
pastries are all
Too
gone.
soon? Oh, right. I know there was blood, but did we actually see Granny's body, or is it just
No.
like, oh, okay. So nothing to bury is what I'm,
She said he swallowed her whole.
Oh. Yeah, we should leave.
Yeah, we should.
Right.
So as you come out through the woods, you're now highly aware of just how still the forest is. The birds have stopped chirping. The small chitters and movements of animals seem to be nothing, as the ominous silence of this idyllic forest now is becoming dismal. And you can almost feel the branches slowly just kind of clasping down upon you, and they seem to be reaching, wanting to hold on to you the same way that Little Red Riding Hood is now grasping your meaty little thighs. As she is terrified.
How big a pig am I?
We are assuming you are all human-sized pigs. You are not tiny little runts. So yes.
Especially the baby over here.
Yeah.
I'm count as a hog, actually. Yes.
And as you are beginning to walk back through the forest to go back to your homey cottages, which now feel very much just even a roof over your head would be better than the clawing, breaking tree trunks that just branches that just seem to want to clasp you up, and they occasionally flick and touch and lick your sides of your tender flesh. And it is unsettling, as if the forest is turned against you suddenly.
Don't worry, my dear. We'll soon be safe under a thatched roof. And if you like, you can relieve yourself on the floor.
Can we just go faster, please? I can feel him. He seems so close. So close. So close. Make a pull. Make a pull. And you can hear the twigs start to snap as something seems to be pulling it out of her forest, and Little Red Riding Hood screams. Her voice lifts up in a high-pitched wail as suddenly something climbs out from the woods, and it parts a sapling as its long jaw distends down in white teeth and comes, "Little pig, come on in."
Sir, you have no idea who you trifle with. I am the Sheriff of Nottingham. And it makes sense when you think about it, Nottingham. My story checks out.
Little Red Riding Hood just is clutched behind you, and as you're looking at this creature with its mouth opens, it takes its single claw and puts it down upon your vest and goes, "Where's your badge, Sheriff?" And he flicks it and he rips a whole seam right out of your tunic, and you feel a part of your cloth just tumble down onto the ground. What would you like to do?
Do we see our sister's house yet? Like relative to home, did we?
You have a feeling you're relatively close to home, to the point of where you can smell her fire.
Probably me.
Okay.
Hark, hark, Robin Hood. Hark, hark. Hark.
As you can hear these sounds trying to come out of your voice, it seems to be constrained by the sheer fear of this foreboding creature that is currently caressing your brother, also delicately with his large fangs. Find your voice. Find your voice in the tower, little pig, and cry out.
I also have a question.
Yes, please ask your question.
Maybe I should wait.
Yeah, I think you should. There may be a certain amount of finality about to.
I was gonna say, would I have heard her cries?
Maybe, we'll see.
Oh, Lord.
Your tiny voice squeaks out ever so lightly as you've literally watched your brother's vest fall apart at the mere flick of his claws. You can see this creature's mouth open as these pearly fangs slowly close upon your brother's shoulder, and he looks right at you as you find your voice. As you cry out for Robin Hood, you hear the wolf turn to you. Pig! And you watch as he swipes his hand right towards you as you lift yourself back and feel as a small gash lifts across it and small dots of flesh just dribble off as blood starts to run down the side of your small frame as you knows, how dare you call? And he attempts to lunge after you, grabbing both of you in his jaws. Yes.
I'm assuming I heard that.
You heard that?
Okay.
You heard the wolf and you heard Little Red Riding Hood all yelling out at the same time.
Penelope is getting ready to battle. Nobody messes with her baby brother. So I'm putting mud on my face, war paint. I'm grabbing a torch from my fireplace and grabbing Fluffy in the other hand and running to help.
We
All
are
right.
currently in his mouth, yes?
No. He has put himself down, again, who has flicked his chest towards you, but as soon as he heard your brother yell out and scream, his face turned as he grabs him. So now you have a side of a wolf face next to you with one eye peering straight into your brother's tiny, terrified eyes as his muscular frame is kind of adjacent towards you, and you can feel the small bits of his bristly hairs just press against your tiny frame.
Red Riding Hood is behind me, yes?
She's clutching onto you like death itself.
You asked where my badge was, sir. Perhaps you should concern yourself with where my men are.
Make a pull. You're still trying to convince this wolf that you are something to be feared. There is more to safety than just talk. If you are truly a traditionalist and you are willing and wanting, you could potentially bring this wolf, at least distract him a moment enough to have this cry bring some glimmer of hope.
Yes, I'll have you know that assaulting the vest of an officer of the law is an offense which is punishable by a hefty fine.
As the wolf kind of clips his hand out towards you, he seems to turn his head back to you. Pig, you think I'm scared of the law, man? You think I'm scared of soldiers on hoofs?
Well, I'll tell you what you should fear, the court of public opinion.
Social media can be devastating.
Yes, yes.
I am prepared for the repercussions, and I am excited for just how tender your flesh is due to how much sweet words you can bring. If your flesh is as sweet as your tongue, then you will be a tasty meal indeed.
I don't know what kind of show you thought this was, friend, but we're not those kinds of pigs.
And Penelope runs up with her torch and her skunk.
I want like the Eye of the Tiger to be playing, like dun 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 dun, and like feel the burden, wolf or something. I don't know. I'll come up with a really cool catchphrase.
All right, great. Well, you're running, you are bouncing, you've got that torch. In your brain, Eye of the Tiger is blaring on 11 right now. All right, and
It's
you can.
time to be porked.
No?
We're not those kinds of pigs. Not
I
those
really
pigs.
need to figure out what I'm doing for a living here. My pig is very confused.
What would you like to do with this torch?
Well, first of all, he is obviously threatening my brothers, which
Yes.
is not cool at all. So I just wanna try and catch him on fire. I wanna
You just
ram
want
it
to
at him.
throw that torch right in there.
I'm gonna swing at him. I don't
All
wanna
right.
let go of it. I mean, this is my only thing. This is the only thing I got.
Make a
And
sweet
Fluffy.
swing. Bring that torch to bear and see if you might burn the flesh
I have an idea.
of the wolf.
Can I lift Fluffy up and have Fluffy spray? Like a hairspray.
Get away from him, you bitch!
Come on, Fluffy, let it out.
Yes. But you've got to pull for it. You want an aerosol fluffy flamethrower, then you've got to pay your dues to the tower.
Come on, Fluffy, we got
It
this.
demands that you sacrifice. You and Fluffy have gotten close in this small time together.
Oh,
you
God,
have been
okay.
making you are petting him, you are feeding him these sweet treats that you give him. He is in love with you. And so this ability to command this animal is riding on your ability to be able to throw this wolf and turn it into something of a more hunted than hunter.
He's been parked!
Is this even possible?
Would you tell me how it goes down?
Yes. So first of all,
First of all, he is threatening my baby brother, who is my favorite. Sorry, Winston.
We've never gotten along.
We never did. It's true. It's it's like the middle child syndrome. Winston. So anyway, so I'm coming at him with my torch, and I'm like, "You get away from my baby brother!" Righteous. And then I pull up Fluffy, and I go, "Let her rip, girl," or whatever, cat. And I pull the tail.
As you pull the tail,
and he
you
just
sprays. Yes, and it catches a flame.
Oh, yeah.
As it aerosols, and you watch as this fireball comes out, and it just kind of hits the wolf as he and he comes back, and you can smell singed hair and flesh as wisps of smoke come out from him as he turns his face back, and you can see that his maw has been completely burnt off, and he's just scratching his face like as he grabs a hold of a giant log and he throws it at you.
Ow. Can I hit it like a bat? Like, oh no, you don't.
If you want to hit the
No,
log
yeah,
with the bat.
I'll just take the log.
All right.
Ow. I'll just, I could
As
deal
the
with
log
a
is
couple of
thrown
cuts
at
and
you,
bruises.
you watch as this piece of branch just flies up in the middle, and it collides into both you and Fluffy as
Oh.
it knocks into you, and you feel the weight of it just slam your body onto the ground as the wolf brings his hand back across and goes, "How many of there are you? Oh, no matter, the winter will be ripe and very fruitful." As he picks himself up, you watch as he scratches his face, and as a result actually makes blood marks trickle down his face as he attempts to pull away at the burnt flesh on his face. And now there's blood dripping down across the front of him as he sits himself up and goes, "Enough fooling around, sheriffs and pigs and skunks. I am going to eat you." And he goes after the smallest.
Fluffy?
I mean, I'm the biggest. I'm the youngest, but I'm the biggest.
Yeah.
Wait, so is he
The
coming?
youngest.
He has
Oh,
a
yeah,
growth
right.
spurt. Oh.
He goes after the biggest.
Our little hog.
So, when he comes at me, I attempt to lodge myself in his throat and choke him. So, I mean, because he's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna Hercules it, hold his jaws.
Because I want him to choke.
Make
yeah,
a pull.
right,
Just
yeah.
make a pull.
Use my torch. Do you want to do the torch thing where you
Nope,
put it? Okay.
nope. I love you. I'm gonna do this with thunder and lightning.
Oh, man.
did you just kamikaze yourself in the wolf's mouth?
So remember, per the rules of Dread, it is whoever last touched the tower who would essentially suffer the repercussions of the fallen tower. Anyone at any point can make a self-sacrifice and knock the tower down, in which to save the others. In this circumstances, you have managed to successfully, with thunder and lightning,
I call him my hurricane.
There is his righteous. His teeth are so large that you can grasp a hold of each one of his main canines with each of your hands and just lock your joints and hold onto it as he basically picked you up with his claws and attempted to push you down. You are now holding on with these two clasping jaws. Wee, wee, wee.
And that's what gives me the idea where I go, Righteous, relieve yourself.
I'm like, Winston, you're up.
You can do it. You're a pig too.
I'm just gonna say, like, use your irritable bowel syndrome to stuff his throat. I don't know, man. Just make him gag. Do something.
While they're working that out,
Yes.
I shall try to get Red Riding Hood to safety.
All right, Winston, are you fleeing back to the straw cottage?
Which is the closest?
The straw cottage.
The straw. Yes, and
Yes.
clearly the safest one. So
Yeah.
that is where I will take her. Yes.
So-
Come, my dear. Come quickly.
As you run, you pull Red Riding Hood behind you, and she's just looking. She's like, "Your brother's so brave."
Yes, yes, he is.
Or it's
We'll
really
remember
stupid.
him well. we will honor his memory every year on this day.
Why did he just go straight into the wolf's mouth?
I'm not sure, but we have to get you someplace safe.
Yes. And as you get closer, she goes, "Oh no, straw. Okay, all right." And she follows you in, and she looks for the least soiled mat that she could possibly find, and pulls the whole thing over her as she just lays as flat and as indiscreet as she possibly can.
Stay here. I have to help my brother and sister.
All right, Penelope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your brother currently is in the mouth of this giant wolf, and he
Wasn't always
is
the brightest.
You're pushing his tongue.
Oh, okay.
Not
I-
those
I can-
kinds of pigs.
Can I get the log off me now? Like,
You can,
okay.
yes. Actually, no. Pull to push the log off of you. Make the pull. You are watching, Penelope, as your brother is slowly being
take it
consumed.
back. I'm just gonna
And
lay
you
here.
have this wood on you, and you're watching as your brother is slowly moments away from being consumed, and you feel a desire. You don't have to make this pull. Look at me. Look at me in the eyeballs. Penelope,
Yes?
you don't have to make this pull.
Okay.
If you don't do it, something bad is going to happen.
He didn't say it's gonna be something bad that happens to me.
I mean, you're in a pretty good spot. Okay.
Are you going to make the attempt? All right. So as you have this dead weight sitting onto you, you can feel as Fluffy has scrambled his way off of you, pulling away from the various twigs and leaves that are currently scattered on top, as you take this weight and you are attempting to push yourself off, and you are having a hard time breathing. It is so clasping onto you. You can feel the weight pressing upon your lungs, pushing upon your ribs, and you're having a hard time catching a breath. But with all of your willpower, you take this branch and you throw it off.
That's because I've been working on my upper body strength with all my rocks. Take that, log.
You throw this bearing weight down upon you.
All right.
And now what would you like to do?
All right, since he obviously is too busy to poop in the mouth, I'm grabbing Fluffy and aiming right down the throat.
Okay. You're gonna make an attempt to
Fluffy
actually
is my weapon.
clearly. Fluffy is also scattered.
I could. Fluffy,
Okay.
come here, boy.
I think Fluffy's the smartest one out of all of us, honestly.
So you're like to call Fluffy.
Fluffy.
I think maybe at this
He
point
slowly comes out.
he
maybe.
slowly comes over.
Yeah.
Does he slowly come over?
It's okay, buddy. You're getting so many treats after today, I promise. Do you have a little extra spray in you, buddy?
You could have been eaten 5 times over by now. So if you want to keep maintaining this energy at this point while she's calling over her skunk, I'm going to need you to make another pull. You've been holding on to this.
I should mention, as I'm running back,
Yes.
I'm constantly yelling, Hawk, 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 you ingrate, Hawk, Hawk.
Yes, agreed. Thank you, which is
Everyone's
important.
harking. I don't know why I just turned old.
So, Righteous, you can, again, you're being held in the mouth of this creature while they're trying to find ways to save you. There is a chance of safety here, in which holding on to it, in which either of them can come to your aid. But you are in the mouth of the wolf right now. And how would you like to save yourself while these two are trying to find a pathway to save you?
I'm gonna come up here.
Because at this point, your siblings have been relying on a lot of skunks and a lot of Robin Hoods at this point. But you are the one that went into the jaw of the beast and held it open. You are the ones that came in, and this is your first time out. This is your first experience as an independent person, pig. And
Pig person.
and you ran into literally the jaws of adventure. I personally would like to see you get out of this.
Me too.
You know, sometimes we don't get what we want. This wolf knows we're here. This wolf knows my family's here.
Don't do it! Fluffy's almost here.
Can I choose to take him with me?
So a self-sacrifice will save, not necessarily from the story, but it will save everyone from what the tower is basically providing at this point, which is not a lot of good choices.
Don't do it, baby brother.
But if you're going to decide, you need to decide quickly, because otherwise I'm just going to make you make the pull.
I'm gonna give myself for my brother and my sister and my family.
By all means,
So what do I do?
you push it over.
I love you guys. I'll see you in hell, Wolf.
Oh, look at that! Hey! Now, with this pull, you have saved these two from danger. And, just a second.
Uh-oh.
You're like, what's? We're like a second wolf appears.
Okay.
I know. He's gonna rebuild this tower, and I'm not happy.
So you have saved these three from potential danger. And more than anything, what you have done is you have, with this sacrifice, you are not only giving them a better tower to pull from, you are disabling the wolf to a place where he can no longer harm them for the purposes of this story. He may not be dead, you may have not taken him down with him. Danger is not gone. There is still things to conquer. But for the purposes of our story, we can give safety to these two for a brief amount of time. So, the question that I do have for you is how would you like to describe your death, or would you like me to describe it?
If I describe it, I'm killing him. So I'll let you describe it.
All right. Let me think of this. Got it. Okay. So, Penelope and Winston, as you are running back into the clearing, and you can see the wolf who has Righteous in his jaws, and he is trying to press him into his throat. And Penelope is, here, Fluffy, here, Fluffy, here, Fluffy.
I'm Hawk, Hawk.
Ross. as you are seeing this happen, you watch as this wolf, who is trying to press a single hand and pull this pig into his place. And Winston has both of his hands, and he is holding the jaws with all of his might. And slowly you can feel as your muscles begin to slowly get tired, and you can feel the aching lactic acid as it is burning your body. And it's so hard to hold, and you're just looking at both of your siblings with a, "I'm so sorry." And at this point, the wolf takes his other hand and pries off one of your arms out of the tooth, and you feel as your entire arm dislocates, as all of it gives away, and he takes you in one bite as you push down, and you can feel the last moments of your arm flopping behind you as you are completely consumed. And as the wolf has his hand down his throat, you watch as an arrow just lodges itself right into the side of its neck. And you take your arm and you just jab the good one that you have, and you press it into his throat as hard as you can, and you are feeling your body go down, but you are taking as much flesh with you as you can go. And he starts to hack as you go down, and he here as two more arrows just lodge into the side of it as he turns across and snaps all of the fletchings off and throw them down, as you see men in the treetops with bows now covering you. Thank you for playing so much. Really appreciate it.
Can he stay up here for moral support, please?
If you would like to stay up, you
Yes.
are welcome to stay.
Yes.
If you talk, I will kill you again.
I understand. I felt it was implied.
Yes. And then let us do a quick rebuild of this tower so that our story can continue.
If I knew Xander was here, I'd have let him die for us.
Yeah, right? And then Xander out of nowhere comes and self-sacrifices himself.
It's true.
Dressed in a green hood.
Xander was Red Riding Hood the entire time.
I mean,
I'm okay with that.
Just one on the floor, yeah.
this looks a lot more promising.
Yeah. No, we were running out of options.
Oh, there was no.
We have a support group now, yes. Part of the brotherhood. It's true.
Okay. So, great. So now that that's done,
Oh,
I died for nothing.
that's good.
It is like super twisted. I guess.
Yeah, it's super twisted.
Oh wait, look at this. They're the same. They're going the same way here.
Oh, they're going the same grain?
Can I rotate it?
Here, so this is the easy, yeah, go ahead and rotate it.
You get it on that side.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Spinning. Spin. That'd be a new record.
No, Xander still holds it.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do, yeah. Okay. I won't take this guy, screw it. Great, okay, so, throws the arrows down. He continues to kind of cough as he's clearly got something lodged in his throat. But now you have men in the trees with bows as they're pulling back long, splendid arrows and continue to train them upon the wolf. What would you like to do?
Cut him down, gentlemen. Aim for the eyes.
Aye, aye. And you watch as they're preparing the next arrows for the next volley. Penelope?
By this time, I have gotten fluffy.
Yes, you have.
Where can I aim him? I was gonna aim him for the eyes, but it looks like they're already doing that. I guess we can double down.
Double team the eyes.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, wait, why am I talking like an old lady?
Okay, I'm gonna aim for the right one. You boys get the left. For righteous!
Pull and pull.
Okay.
Both of you. Both of you. One for the eye and one for the other eye.
I'm going for the...
When pigs are faced with a wolf, they fight. And they stand down, and no quarter will be held. Glorious.
Righteous has joined the ranks of Squeaky, but will never be forgotten!
As both of you are laid out, you can see that this wolf is harried and has clearly taken a beating, even from the fact that trying to pull your biggest brother down his throat, he is having a difficult time. And you hear as the volley of a next set of arrows, you watch as all of you kind of hit the dirt as several of the arrows land on the wolf, but also miss their mark, and very they barely miss you as they come down, and you actually feel as like some of the dirt splashes up as some of the errant arrows have actually not, they had a hard time not missing you, so.
Has the wolf been struck?
He has been struck along his shoulder and along his side, and even one into his face. You could see as another lay down, and he continues to pull them out like porcupine quills, just snapping all of them and throwing them down.
Brother Winston, I'm obviously the smart one, and I have an idea.
He also got a skunk in the face, by the way. So.
Oh, sorry. I'll aim it
Yes.
this way. Sorry, Winston. I can't smell them. Okay, but obviously the wolf can hear us if I talk to him like this. So I'm going to use our secret brother-sister language that we came up with
Great.
as children.
Which translates as?
Which translates to, now he's going to track with his sense of smell. I want to set a trap for him. Let's run back home.
Very well. To your house?
No. No. To yours, Brother Winston.
Well, okay, but I've got a girl over.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I do know that there's a wooden house that's not being used and probably won't be used in the near future.
Okay, we'll go to Righteous's.
All right, yes.
That was Righteous's house. All right.
We're gonna go to Righteous's house. I just figured yours might be a little easier.
Okay.
That's not.
So you all run to Righteous's house,
Yep.
and you see his little rope ladder.
I spray Fluffy along the waist to give him a trail to follow.
I think he could just see us.
One eye's
Oh, that's true. His eyes are so
one eye's has been
Skunk guy.
sprayed.
And the other has been fletched. He is not blind, but you have disoriented the wolf, absolutely. And as you scramble up the rope ladder, you can feel as the wolf grabs a hold of the bottom of the ladder and attempts to yank it down upon you. Who you went up first,
This is
correct?
why we should not have gone to Righteous's house. It's in a tree.
You went first, yes?
Yeah.
So, Winston,
Very well.
make a pull. As you see him disoriented and raging mad, this wolf with skunk laid out across his eyes and more arrows than he can count along the side of his face, including parts of his jaw, you can see as he is just furious with pig rage.
So I have successfully pulled. Does that mean I make it up the ladder before?
Yeah,
it gets...
he pulls it down, but he pulls it down right as you make your last little steps up into the top of the second floor, or the main floor.
So
of
he is
Righteous's.
currently under the tree.
He's currently under the tree.
To
and
the
he has-
poop chute!
has pulled the ladder down. I regret to inform you that the poop chute has already been shooted.
Very well.
Unless I don't think Righteous had time to fill it before.
No,
the
no,
event
I'm
of the
going to
day.
fill it.
Pull for poop. Pull for poop. Fill that chute with the poop.
Can I help after?
Yes.
All right.
Double down. Make it a double.
I've had to go for a while, you know. It runs in the family.
Runs.
That was Squeaky's downfall.
I can't even talk you through this. I don't even know what to say.
Dump it, Winston! Dump it like you've never dumped before!
Are you gonna fill it too?
Yeah, I'm
Pull
going.
it. Yeah.
I'm going after. I'm gonna let him do his first, and then I'm gonna be like, well, that was nice.
This episode's gonna be called Pull for Poop.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I had lunch in town. I went to an all-you-could-eat seafood buffet.
As you have both dropped your load inside of the chute, it is about as awful and as noxious as you can possibly. If two pigs were to put their full effort into this, there could not be two prouder pigs.
Can I just say one thing? Just because
Sure.
it's that ridiculous.
Corn? When did I eat corn today?
That's all. That's all.
So, I'm going to tell you,
do it, Kira.
and this is it, because I believe we're now at a stage in which this story is slowly coming to an end. Pull for the chute. This is your final pull. With this, the wolf will no longer trouble this side of the forest. Ever. Take it home. You guys ever watch Double Dare?
Yeah, those wounds and burns are gonna get mighty infected.
This creature it's the weight of it actually drops him to the floor as it impacts and his head slams against the side of the dirt, and he picks himself up after flicking it off and just bounds off into the forest, leaving nothing in his wake, just raked trees and a small pathway leading into the forest. And with that, you watch as Little Red Riding Hood steps out from the doorway.
Watch your step, little one!
She slowly scoops up her basket and she walks away.
No need to thank me.
And that is the end of our story.
Oh, wait. I want to say this. Winston and I plant a hybrid tree in Righteous's name.
Hybrid
Yeah.
tree, a little sapling.
sapling.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
We're gonna speak
Thank
pig
you.
Latin as the ancestral language.
I can't do it.
For the survivors first,
Thank you.
Yes.
and then for the fallen. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone who came out. Thank you, Gen Con.